Today's show is brought to you by AMI Boating Tours. Book today for the absolute best boat tour that you'll receive on Anna Marie Island. You can go to AMIBoatingTours.com or you can call 941-242-7326. Kristen Lee and David Lay, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Thank you.
22N is in the house, man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have you guys.
Well, thank you for having us.
First of all, you're my favorite cover band. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
But also, we've become friends over the years.
Yes.
And, as whenever I get a chance to come see you guys, I come to see you. And I know you guys are good, too, about getting out
We try.
and seeing other bands.
We do.
We do.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you've seen the show.
Yes.
Of course we have.
Yeah.
Mike was on a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and of course we watched that one, but we watched
Can I
several
tell you
others
how much
also.
I love that guy?
Yeah, he's great.
That
He's
guy-
I love Mike.
wonderful.
I mean, I feel like we're brothers, man. Like, there's something about that guy. He's like, you talk to him and he's like, he's the greatest guy, man.
He is.
Right?
He is.
He
Wonderful person.
He just radiates like love and positivity.
Yes.
Mike,
Joy.
believe it or not, after Kristen, because obviously she's a lead singer, she gets a lot of attention. But Mike, I think he's like the second most popular guy in the band.
Well,
There's just people that just are drawn to him. He's got this he's a very genuine guy. He really
he's
is.
charismatic.
Yes.
Magnetism.
He is.
But I refer to him as your secret sauce because he starts singing, he starts playing guitar,
Yeah.
and then sometimes he'll give you a break and he'll go up front and he'll be
Yeah.
that guy,
Yeah.
right? Leading the audience.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful.
Harmonica. Yeah, he does.
So there's a nickname for him.
Oh, we call him the merchandise for that reason.
The merchandise.
Because he plays multiple instruments. He sings, he can front, So we call him the merchandise. That's his nickname in the band.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
a great nickname.
We gave him that back when we played Key West. We played 7 days in Key West, so that's where it came from. It was years ago.
And I think of all the band members, I'm sure he does the most driving, right?
He does. He drives a lot,
Yeah.
because he lives all the way up in Dade City. So, but he never complains about it, not once.
You know what's funny?
It's
We
wonderful.
all drive a lot and we love it, Jacked Up, we play a lot of the venues you guys play.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll go up and down the coast, sometimes as far as Naples,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes, Tampa area.
Mm-hmm. But
But we tend to stay, as you guys are, basically Sarasota County, Manatee County, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With some Charlotte thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we actually play all the way up in
Homosassa.
Crystal River, Homosassa,
Yeah.
and we go all the way down to Naples.
Mhm.
Even outside of the festivals that we actually play all the way down Naples. We're now, we got another call back to go back over to the Daytona area again.
Mhm.
Oh, is that going to be for Bike Week?
No, not Bike Week. Although we were scheduled to play Bike Week this year, but since Kristen had her operation, we had to say no to that at this point.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I believe we'll probably be back though next year.
Well, you guys would do great in Daytona because all the big guns are in Daytona.
It's fun.
They do an
Yeah.
October thing, and then they do something in March, right? There's like two
Right.
big things down there.
I think the March one is the bigger one, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Do you guys do anything on the East Coast? Any plans of being like in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Pompano, Boca? Do you get over there at all?
Not really. I think Daytona was about the only thing that we've gone over to the East Coast for at this point. Yeah.
Not to
But
say that we wouldn't.
We wouldn't, yeah.
Right.
If
It
the
just
opportunity came about, then we would go.
has not been our biggest focus as in right now. So
Yeah.
Well, the things that make you special, and this is my opinion, you have a wonderful production. So,
Thank you.
I mean, it's probably not easy to travel that production, right? Because you have a lot of gear. I mean, you have
Big trailer and a big
staging,
truck.
lighting, right?
Yeah.
You guys have some of the best sound gear. In fact,
Thank you.
I was impressed how many subs you guys had at the Taste of Buffalo or Everything Buffalo party.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys have the giant subs, right? So I feel like when I see you guys, I feel like I'm seeing like, the Doobie Brothers or like, the
That's
Who
cool.
or the Beach Boys. I mean, you got a massive set.
Yeah.
Another great thing about you guys is that the sound is dialed in, man. Like your sound guy, we'll give some
James.
love to James.
James
yes,
Madden.
James Madden.
One of the best in the business.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
He has you guys sounding fantastic.
He
man.
does.
And I know this because as a musician, the first thing I do when I see bands is I stand in the middle and I say, okay, how is it produced? And it's like, are the lows lows or the highs highs?
Mhm.
Can I hear the singer? Is there any feedback?
Yeah.
And you guys seem to have it mastered, man. You have just a perfect sound from all angles.
He does a great job. He really does.
He,
Yeah.
he is actually the production manager for the sound company that we
Mhm.
run, which
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yes.
But he's a huge part of that. He basically runs and manages those things also. So
Mhm.
And then on top of the sound, you guys have wonderful lighting. And so the visuals are high end as
Thank
well.
you.
Now, when I first saw you guys, you were playing some of the smaller clubs, but you had video screens behind you and on the side of you, which was badass. And then I think as you guys have grown, I think you just have this like giant wall behind you as well.
We have the wall, but we also have more that we could put out. If the stage is large enough, we can put more out.
But I think it's awesome because not only is it a good sounding band, but now the customer or the patron is getting, all their senses are getting lit up. You know, they can hear it, they can see it, right? They can feel it.
Right, exactly. I would say you try to evict emotion. We were just talking about this with the crew the other day. Evicting emotion not only with the music, but with the lighting and the video at the same time. So you're incorporating all of those senses at the same time.
You guys use a little fog, a little smoke too?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Nice.
So one of the things that we wanted to do was when we started the band, or when I started the band many years ago, is we wanted to bring a national act or scene to your local venue, because who does that? And that's the thing. And that's what we try to accomplish is we want them to come to see a national act at a local venue.
You know, that's brilliant. And I'm a big fan of Kiss. I grew up a Kiss fan. And Gene Simmons, whether you love him or hate him, he used to always say to people, he put Kiss together because he wanted to give them the experience that they never had.
Yeah.
And he certainly accomplished that, right?
Yeah, very much so.
So if in your opinion or in your words, what can someone expect when they come for the first time when they come to a 22N show?
I'll give you that. You want that one?
You want me to? Okay. So we want to give them an experience, obviously on a local level, as we said before. We want them to dance. We want them to have fun. We want them to enjoy themselves while they're there.
Do you consider yourself first and foremost to be a dance band? If you had to categorize and list them?
I would think so. I mean, that's our objective, is to get people up and moving. I as a personal preference, I don't want people just to sit and stare at us. I don't prefer that. I prefer to see people enjoying themselves, because it's more enjoyable for us if we know that they're having fun as well. So if people are up dancing, then it's almost like you're doing your job. You know, that's what you want. You want them to have fun and get up and move. Yeah.
And it's safe to say that the venue's hiring you just to do that because they want to sell drinks. So there's a correlation between people dancing and working up a sweat and spending money on alcohol. Right?
Yeah, very much so. But we've been told in some venues that we need to take more breaks because nobody was buying alcohol because they were dancing so much. That's
a good problem to have, I guess. I don't know. It's like...
Yeah, right, exactly. So finding that break in the set, you know, to make people stop dancing and go to the bar.
Go get a drink now and come back.
Yeah, right.
We actually have some fans that'll actually come to the show to get their workout for the week.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no, they actually tell us that. They'll sit there and they'll dance the whole time.
They'll come the full weekend, every single show.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about your fans, because the one thing that I'm a fan myself, but I've noticed over the year, you have a large fan base.
I do.
You have a lot of regulars. Like when I go to see a 22N show, I'll see a lot of like regulars. I mean, Jacked Up has it too, but you guys have a lot of regulars. I mean, you got guys wearing your shirts, you know, wearing your stuff. You have men and women that are just like planning their calendars around when they can see you. And I bet you this too, right? If I had to guess, I'd say there's people from the Midwest that will snowbird here. They're probably planning their trips around when they can see 22N.
Yeah, they do.
So let me take this one. So first thing, personally, just in a personal sense, we have some of the nicest people in the world that come out and see us. I mean, these are just blessed. Genuine people. We've shared weddings, we've shared anniversaries, we've shared funerals, we've shared so many things. There's been so many people that have gotten together. Gotten married because of us. We have people that have gotten 22N tattoos. Yes. And it's just, come on. Yeah, no, awesome. I swear.
That's awesome.
The one thing that just really, I think warms my heart more than anything else is that these are genuine people coming to see us, that we give them joy and we get to be part of their experience also. Yeah. I mean, it's like they include us in the things that are personal to them.
Yeah.
I mean, getting a tattoo, that's a very personal thing. And, you know, the people that came up and did this, you know, I was like, well, I don't know if I'd get a 22N tattoo myself, but I really appreciate you getting that. But that was like, wow. That
is wow.
And just all the emotion that comes together with that. We had, the other day we had, at St. Pete, first Friday, we were doing the show out there, and we had a person that said, hey, we saw you 2 years ago and we extended our vacation by 3 days so that we could see you guys on First Friday. We're going home tomorrow. So, those things are very, very exciting. And, I think a lot of things, and the one thing I want to stress, we're very approachable.
Yes.
We have a lot of people that just approach us, and that's okay. We love that. We love being close to people.
We do.
I think the reason why this all happens is that you guys are setting a vibe, right? Your personalities, right? Your musicianship, obviously. But I think the product that you put out, and let's face it, 22N's a product, right? Mm-hmm. The product you put out is a very appealing product where a lot of people feel at ease, right? And like you said, they maybe they get to know you. I'm sure after this podcast, a lot of people are really going to get to know you, right? Because one of the reasons why I do this thing is people like yourselves that don't get a chance to talk to all your fans can maybe talk to them through this particular show about why you do what you do. But to your earlier point, getting off on watching people smile and dance and knowing that people have met and fell in love at your show, and you talked about weddings.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is worth more than the money that they pay us to do it, right?
Definitely. Absolutely. I mean, to be a part of there are a couple couples that have met at shows, and then we did do their wedding, which was, and then they come back every anniversary, to be a part of somebody's life like that. That's very, very
it would
cool.
be cool if you became like an ordained minister, and then you can marry them on the show, like on set. You can be like, okay, step up.
I would do that. That would be very cool.
Like it'd really be a full service
band.
Right?
There you go.
Everything incorporated.
So some basic questions. Questions I'm sure you get a lot. Why the name 22N?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So, well, you came about it, but
so in the beginning when we started, I lived in an HOA. We were a rock band practicing in the garage in an HOA. So we continued to get the police called on us.
Now, when you say we, who you?
The band at the time.
Okay.
The group of people. I literally, I'm the only original left. Although Jeff, our old bass player,
I remember Jeff.
He still works with us in the production side of things. But we would keep getting the cops called on us because we were being loud. So I have a background also in law enforcement. I served for 10 years in law enforcement. And anyway, they kept coming. I was like, well, what's the code for noise disturbance? He said 22N. And I said, that's the name. That's the name we're going to have. And that's where 22N started. Literally, it's police code for noise disturbance.
That's a great name.
Yeah. It's been cool. Fun. It's been fun.
And it's fun the way your logo and how you guys, color it, and the like blue, almost like a police blue, like a blue light.
Yeah, I love the shield.
Now, the shield that we have, I don't know, a lot of people have seen it, but it's literally, and we have a group called 22N Force in the background that, we have our private group and those types of things. So it's all kind of geared towards that kind of tongue-in-cheek thing with the noise disturbance.
So how many years have you guys been together now? Like, how many years can you say 22N has actually been performing?
I've been with them for 8. I think it's, what is it, 10 now?
So we started in 2015, late 2015, early 2016.
So we're working on 10 years.
10 years. November of 2026, I think, will be officially our 10-year mark.
So you're the founding member, and then Michael came. Is that the order?
Michael, with the current members, yes. Michael was next. Kristen was after him. Then we had Gary, and now we have Robbie.
Right. So those are the 5. And how do you guys pick your music? Like, do you have a meeting and say, here are the songs we're going to do? Like, I noticed you guys have a very, very vast pop, country, rock. I've even heard you do some kind of rap and some kind of stuff like that. How do you guys determine, what you're going to play, and how is the set list ultimately put together?
I write the set list every week, but right now I write it on purpose because of my voice.
Well, we're going to get into your voice.
Yeah, and
we can talk about it now if you like.
It's out. That's fine. So back in September 23rd, I had parathyroid surgery because my calcium was too high, and I knew it had been high for years, and the doctors were telling me that it was going to start affecting my heart. And I already have a little heart condition. So we decided we found a surgeon, asked some questions, thought I asked the right questions. And what I had agreed upon was 1 hour non-intubated. And it ended up being 3.5 hours intubated, which is not what I agreed upon. So when I woke up, I couldn't talk. I couldn't speak. Lungs were working about 50%. It was right when all the hurricanes came. We had a friend of ours who's a nurse. She helped me with I think it's called a spirometer, to learn how to increase my lung capacity again. And it literally, I think we're working with 4 ENTs, a vocal therapist every week. I start with a laryngologist in the next couple weeks. I have all these therapies I do every single day. I have tongue stretches because my tongue root's too tight. Like it every single day there are things that I have to do just
Are
to
you
get my
improving
range
on a
back.
weekly basis, monthly basis?
It is. It's more like it's weekly, but it's almost like 2 steps up, 1 step back, 2 steps up.
I mean, the last time I heard you sing, you sounded fantastic.
Thank you.
I don't think anybody knows that you've even had.
It's just the high range. The high range is what's not totally back. So no Whitney, no Carrie Underwood, like all my favorites that I love to do. I can't do those yet. It is getting there. It's just there's no power behind it.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
But you got Michael to help save you a little bit.
Yeah, the boys have really stepped up and added some songs to it, because it used to be where I think of a full night of 40 to 50 songs, the boys would do maybe 3 or 4. And now I have to, because I'm growing, the strength has to come back to the voice. They've added a couple more than that. So it's been very helpful.
So besides having a wonderful range of different types of music and different types of songs you sing 2, 3, 4 nights in a row.
Yeah.
So, that's a daunting situation. I mean, it's difficult. Like I remember, like I've had problems with some of my singing and my singers 2 nights in a row, but going 3 and 4. I mean, how do you do it? Like, how do you?
I have a very good vocal coach, Mary Walkley, and I've been seeing her for 15 years, and I don't see her all the time. It's now I'm to the point where it's like maintenance. So if I feel myself going backwards, where I'm a little stressed in the voice on the 3rd day, then I go back to Mary and I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And she'll walk me through.
So like breathing things and stuff like that.
And
posture.
Different posture, phonetics, the way, the shape of your face, my vocal therapist asked me, I'm doing planks and doing scales at the same time.
Interesting.
To strengthing my core.
That's a
to
good
use
tip
my
for
breath
people
properly.
listening.
Yes, do planks and sing at the
What about
same
like
time.
lozenges, sprays,
No.
Medications, liquids, nothing like that?
The only medication
Hot
I'll
tea?
take now is I do drink, I don't drink tea. I drink hot water with lemon and honey. But that's what I typically drink at a show. But I have allergy medicines I have to take because especially this time of year.
The pollen's bad.
Yeah.
I had it. I couldn't sing the other night. It was like this.
Yeah, right. So that would be a night that I would double up on the allergy medicine.
But the great thing about it is you guys still put on a quality show. Like there's no you got to go. You're on. Boom, go.
Yeah.
It's like 22N. Boom.
Yeah, it's a daily process. For me, it's a daily process. I know I have to do certain things, especially like if we wake up in the morning for a gig, I know exactly what I need to do every single hour before we hit the stage.
So to the earlier point, when you're making the set list, you might change it to basically either, I guess, play the room, the venue might determine the set list, as well as maybe how you're feeling, particularly that night.
I mean, if it's the 3rd night and I'm struggling right now, then certain songs that have a higher range, we'll take them out and swap them with something else. But because we do so many different kinds of songs, we have the ability to do that. So that has been very nice. But
now, do you switch up the set list based on, like, for an example, if you're doing a biker rally or there's going to be a lot of bikers as opposed to a pure younger dance club?
Yes.
Would you maybe say, okay, we're going to do a little bit more classic rock, and then over here we'll do more of the current pop stuff? Is that
right? So there's some places we play where the demographic is older at first, and then it shifts as the night goes on. It shifts younger. So we'll do some of the older 70s stuff and then shift into the newer stuff. 90s and 2000s and stuff later in the night. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite things to sing? Your favorite performers?
I love Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood is probably one of my absolute favorites because of the power, her range.
I agree.
And, the dynamics of her voice are just so amazing. I love it. Lauren Daigle is one of my absolute favorites. We're actually flying to Ohio with some friends for a 24-hour to see her in a concert and fly back. And I don't remember where that is. I think it's next month.
May sometime.
So Lauren Daigle's one of my favorites. Whitney Houston, same thing. It's that power. Going back from old country, Martina McBride, some of her old stuff, I like that power.
I just heard Carrie Underwood sing Ace of Spades in a video.
Yeah.
And she killed it.
Yes.
She'll kill anything.
Yeah,
She's
she really
phenomenal.
does.
She really is.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I always tell my singers, look at Kristen Lee at what she does, because you don't use any props. You have no monitors. I'm sorry, computers. You memorize your lyrics.
Yeah.
I think you're in complete control of the crowd, of your bandmates. You're a leader, and you're a great example for a younger singer to say, this is how it's done.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? I think you're the consummate pro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have fun, and I was telling David about this the other night. There's certain things I do with my hands. It's just, I don't know why, just certain songs I do the same thing, but I've done it so often that now we have fans that come to see us and they do the same thing at the same time. It's fun. It's cool. It's really cool. It really is. But it's just, I'm just me on stage.
And that's great. And that people are coming to see you,
Yeah.
I'll have to say this, and prior to me and Kristen getting together, I didn't understand singers and singing. She has a specific diet. She doesn't eat so many hours before a show.
Yes.
There is, and I guess I stress this because, local singers can just say, I'm going to drink a couple of drinks and get on stage and have, this is a business. And
it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. And she does all of these things to be Kristen Lee.
Yeah.
And I admire her for that because, I never knew singers did that. I just thought, they just got up and they did their thing and they went home. But it's just like this whole massive thing behind the scenes that, I think properly people have to do to be that singer, you know?
Well, think about it. Like you play the drums and I play the bass, but a singer, her instrument, is right here, right? Mm-hmm. So smoke would affect it, right?
Yeah.
Lack of water, alcohol, dehydration, right? Dust. I mean, there's so many things, pollen we talked about that could affect you,
Yeah, absolutely. It truly is a lifestyle. If you're doing it properly, it is a lifestyle. It really is. But it's, for me, it's fun. The difficulty some days, especially with my voice the way it is now, it's always when you get up there on stage and you see everybody happy, it's worth it, 100%. Yeah.
I agree. It's funny, like they're paying us to perform, but I tell people this, they're paying me to basically load in and load out. I'll play for free because I love it, but it's all the other stuff that they're paying me for, like the marketing, the stuff that I got to do to get the band to where it's at,
That's a lot of work too.
Another great thing about your band, in my opinion, is that you set the bar very, very high. So like when we look at you guys and we look at the way you set yourself up, you guys are cordless, wireless, right? You have a clean stage, premium sound, premium lights. So I want to thank you for that because I think that you've made a lot of bands, without even knowing you're doing this, you've made a lot of us other cover bands better because we're saying to ourselves, hey, you know what? 22N's doing it like this way. Let's try to do that too, Let's like follow the leader. And I can tell you from Jacked Up's perspective, is like you guys have made us a better band because we take it more seriously now.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Because we aspire to be to where you guys are,
Thank you. That's cool. That's pretty cool.
But who do you guys like? What inspires you guys? Like what gets you guys to the next level? You know what I'm saying? Like what keeps you going?
I would say a lot of times when we go to concerts, we're always watching. It's what are they doing with the lights? How are they pointing them? How are they aiming them? What kind of lights do they have? Do they have lasers? Do they not have lasers? The rigging that they have, because, since we have the production company, we have several stages. What are they doing for different types of trussing and things? We're constantly looking wherever we go to see how other people are doing things. Yeah. And incorporating it if we can.
And we go out and see local bands all the time.
Yeah, we do.
As you know.
When we can.
when we can. And, even at the local level, it doesn't matter if we're seeing Jacked Up that night. You may do something that I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. We should try to do something like that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we'll go, places like, I remember we got and everybody steals everything from somebody just in a different manner. You know what I'm saying?
Well, song selection might be something like that. A good example.
We were at the House of Blues one night and we were watching the Molly Ringwalds and they were doing Don't Stop Believing. And they did this really neat thing in the middle of Don't Stop Believing. And I was like, we've got to do that. That is absolutely awesome.
Sure.
And if you're not constantly learning, you're not evolving. And that's the thing. I love to go out and watch bands from the local to the national level. It doesn't matter. It's just love to watch people do their craft and learn from that. Because, when we were 8-10 years ago, we started out with a screamer for a singer and, it was all this kind of stuff. And we've evolved from that, but that's only from watching the success of others. So,
but would you say that even back then you kind of had an idea what you wanted to become, and you kind of had a game plan? Like
no
you knew,
clue
like,
back then.
But
clue.
Bringing her on. I mean, I don't know who your previous singer was, but like I know, like I just brought Sarah Santiago on, and we just went from here to here. It's like, but I kind of knew that that's what I wanted to do, because to play the better venues and to make the better money, we had to get to a different level. So did you have some kind of like plan in place?
So over the years, and I've said this publicly to a lot of people, certain people have come at certain levels of the band that have made the band what it is today. I didn't think that we became a serious band until we got Kristen. That's when 22N to me really started. She is the catalyst for what 22N is today. We've had guitar players, we've had different musicians and all, but until you have that middle piece, and then you throw the other pieces around them, and Mike was always stellar, and he was here before Kristen. And when you start putting all of those pieces together and you get to the end of the road and you say, okay, here's our finished product. One of the things that, we want to talk about tonight is we actually have one of our members leaving. And we have an actual opportunity for someone out there that might possibly want to join 22N. So that's, one of the things we can talk about a little bit, but it's really is an evolving process. And what I've learned about, forming bands is that, everyone thinks, I'm going to get these great musicians together and we're going to be great all of a sudden. Take 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Then you'll get there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you put together. It's always that process of refining and making.
I agree with that
better.
statement.
It really is.
I think I'm living that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think just recently we've gotten a lot better, and there's more comfort on the stage. There's more camaraderie amongst the bandmates. Mm-hmm. But you said to me something when we were talking once at a show backstage, and you said to me, it's about the people. Right. And, there's a lot of great musicians, but when you put a team together, because that's what it is, it's a team, whether it's 4, 5, 6 people, how they work together is that is better than the product is better than the individuals. Like you have to have great individuals, but then they come together as a team and you create something. And like, these are brothers and sisters, right? To you, and the same thing with me, jacked up. Like these are my brothers and my sister. Mm-hmm. And I think once then that radiates on stage, right? So now you're playing and you're actually enjoying playing with each other. Yeah. And you're smiling, you're laughing, and it's not work anymore. It's play.
Yeah.
People forget the band. It's a team sport. If you have players that don't want to be part of that team sport, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody has to be part of the team. Like you have to give certain areas for the guitar player to shine, the singer to shine, the drummer to shine. And everybody makes that the team. It's just like a basketball team. We may not be the best musicians in the world, but the team as a whole,
right?
That's what you think.
Exactly.
But the thing that just amazes me about other bands is like, be the team, be part of the team. Always think about, I think that's why Mike is such great and has been with me for so long. Mike is always a team player. I can always count on Mike. He's always saying, how can we make this better? So anyway, I digress.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, we're having fun, man. And they're paying us to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I look around and I say, I'm living in Sarasota. I'm in a pretty damn good cover band. I mean, how good is my life right now?
Yeah.
I'm living in paradise, man. And I live where people vacation.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So talking about production now. So let's talk about your sound company.
Okay.
Because what I've watched happen over the last couple of years is I've seen you grow as far as your capabilities in production and the business, that side. You have a relationship with Paragon.
Right.
It's the seafood festivals, which we all love.
Mm-hmm.
Every year this time, there's always a bunch of different ones every weekend. We play a couple of them. We absolutely love it. We love one of your sound people that works for you. I'll say her name, Ray.
They'll love her.
Everybody loves Ray.
Yeah.
I'll talk to everybody from Lena to Renee to anybody whose band has played. They'll say, yeah, she's the best.
She's wonderful.
And it seems like not only is she a good person, but she really knows what she's doing. Mm-hmm. How'd you guys find her? And like, what's that whole story behind that?
So interestingly enough, me and Bill Kenny numerous years ago.
Bill Kinney is the owner
of Paragon.
Right,
Yes,
the guy that puts these together.
He is the guy that is behind Paragon, and they also do art shows, not only just seafood festival, but a lot of art shows also. We struck a deal and formed a partnership to do his sound for the festivals. We needed a stage. I reached out and found Ray, who was over in Orlando, and for a year she rented her stage to us for the production. The next year, we bought her stage from her and kept her working with us for the production company. And she now does, national acts for us. She does all the festivals for us. And she's a touring pro. So she actually goes out and tours with different people out there. Mm-hmm. So we are very thankful to have her. Genuine person. I love her to death. And she's just as sweet at work as she is outside of work.
Yeah.
So how many bands can you put on at the same time? For example, how large has your company grown? Could you produce multiple acts at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
So right now we own 3 stages and we have what we would consider 4 large setups. Mm-hmm. So we could have 4 events going on at one time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of gear. So I'm assuming you warehouse all this stuff and you got, the ability to transport it.
We do.
And you have a lot of crew to set it up.
Trailers, trucks.
Crew trailers. I think right now, we have 22 people that are affiliated with the production company. Yeah.
So the production company is like becoming bigger than the band, like in the sense that it's its own entity. It's like you created this thing. I mean, I think that good companies are in demand. Like there's some guys out there that are small that necessarily aren't be able to do the touring acts that come through, but you guys are big enough that you can do a well-known band, say like a reunion band that's coming through that needs the proper sound, right? The proper staging, the proper lighting.
Right. Mm-hmm. We've done people like Richard Marx. We've done, we just did Tiffany the other day from the 80s. Yeah. We've done George Lynch. Yeah. We've done big names out there. So big nationals. So
the way it works, like someone will call you and say, hey, and like they would call me for like the band, like they call you for the band still, but they would say, I'm calling you for production. Mm-hmm. Like I don't even need your band to play. I need you to be able to produce these guys. Yes. So you're getting those kind of
all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, one of the biggest events that we just did was we did the Bradenton Regatta, which are 2 stages, 2 nights, a river walk, and an entire bridge across the Manatee River. Sound-wise.
Yeah.
Now, it was funny because we got the sound gig, and then the guy that owns the regatta was like, don't you guys have a band also? I'm like,
it's not funny how now it's an afterthought. Yeah. 22 is an afterthought now. Hey, you might as well play it.
But we joke about that it used to be that the band got, the production company gigs, and now it's more the production company gets the band gigs. Yeah.
That's great.
It's switched.
But when you said you have 2 stages, can they be simultaneous, or does one guy play, then he goes on break, the other guy plays, or are they both playing at the same time?
3 stages.
3 separate,
Yeah, 3 separate stages, 4 different sound setups.
Wow.
So literally we could have 4 events going on at one time with the 3 stages.
And different locations.
Locations.
Do a lot of big stuff. Like you'll do New Year's Eve, you'll do St. Patrick's Day, Halloween. Like you do the big stuff. Mm-hmm. I noticed recently, I think you were at Bradenton downtown you did some big stuff there. Mm-hmm. I think you did Big Top Live for New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. In the past, you used to be on Main Street in Sarasota, like 30,000 freaking people.
Pineapple Drop.
Yeah, it's big stuff, man. So like you're still getting that kind of stuff, right? Do you do First Fridays on St. Pete?
Mm-hmm. Right? We'll do First Friday about every 6 months. Yeah. The band will play it every 6 months, but the production company does it. So your
calendar must be like crazy full. I mean, like, do you put it on the kitchen wall and like you just like look at it and just keep marking stuff?
We play every weekend. Like we don't play this weekend because we were supposed to go away for my birthday. We're going to work instead, but we don't have another weekend off until July. So, and that's the name of that's just the industry. Right. That's what we do.
And all 5 of you are on the same page. I mean, that's what you guys want.
Right.
You know, everybody's happy. It's not like one guy says, well, I can't do this Saturday. You know, no, but you're committed to the band. You're doing these shows.
Right. And usually at the beginning of the year or somewhere about July, everybody puts everything they need off on the calendar for the following year. And so David knows when he's booking everything, who needs what. Is there a birthday, a wedding, vacation, whatever. So that's a lot of times how we do it.
So, and I really want to clarify, it's not just production. We have another company for events, which Kristen actually runs, that we do St. Pete First Friday. We do the Bradenton Alive downtown.
I'm the organizer. My company.
So that means you're doing more than just music and production. You're doing the logistics. You're doing getting the sponsors,
permitting, licensing.
That's a full-time thing in itself. I mean,
yeah, so I do all the organizing of all the events themselves when it comes to from point one to
that's a big deal, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Or if someone needs help doing those things because they want to do a festival, we can go in and actually help them get through all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and do all the back end work for them.
Yeah.
So is there something like you really look forward to every year that stands out more than the other ones? Like, is there a particular show that like, oh my gosh, we love it so much?
I like Halloween because I like to dress up personally. I like costuming.
Wow, one?
I know one's hard. I like the costuming end of that one though.
Yeah, I think as we've grown, it's that expectation of that one was fun. Oh, wait a minute, this was bigger. Oh, wait a minute. It's kind of like that growing thing. It's like, okay, so what can we get into this year?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do when I sit down and I look and I start mapping out the next year is what can I do that we haven't done that would be fun to do? And I will go
bucket list
and I'll start really pushing, trying to get that done.
Yeah.
And I dig that about you guys. For an example, you guys did Sloppy Joe's and you did a week down there.
Yeah.
And that's something that I want to do on my bucket list. I may end up hating it when it's done, but I want to go down there and I want to do it just to say I did it. You guys did the Hard Rock. I want to get to the Hard Rock. So I too have a bucket list.
Yeah.
And I like that attitude because like, let's always find something different and, try to do milestones, throughout the career.
Yeah. And everybody puts into the bucket list. All the musicians, everybody, we make one big list about, what everybody wants to play. So it's not just like what I want to do or what he wants to do. It's what we all want to do, and that's what we continually work on is that bucket list.
I think one of the things was Mike always wanted to play the Floridian, which was called, what was it? The State Theater at the time.
That place is pretty cool, man. I like that place.
So that year I basically pushed until we got into Floridian and actually played that year. So
do you ever do Genesis Live?
We did.
We have.
We have done
That's
it
a fun
time,
place.
yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And I love the energy in St. Pete because it's a lot younger, and it's like there's a lot more energy in the air. You can feel it,
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot going on downtown St. Pete. Hopefully they'll be able to hold on to that with all the condos going up.
I know.
I hope that they can hold on to that vibe, but
with all the growth in the Sarasota, Bradenton area, do you guys foresee like more opportunities for cover bands and for live music, or you think it's going to be, we're going to start losing venues? Like I know like my friends up north, they're kind of jealous, like, man, you guys get a lot of work, and you're working year round. Because up there, it's different. There's not as many venues, and it's not everything's like most stuff's indoors. Mm-hmm. But down here, like we have a lot of venues. Like Sandbar's coming back now. They just, got their stuff together. And Big Top Live just added this huge stage.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing there for the first time soon.
Awesome.
So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, like, do you see like more opportunities or less opportunities?
I would say, I guess it depends on the region, but I would say there's probably less opportunities. With some of the beach bars not coming back, like up in St. Pete, some of those aren't going to come back.
Treasure Island and those places like
the downtown areas, Sarasota, with the sound ordinance. You know,
it's
I
crazy.
think the more condos that go up in places like that, you're going to see a lot less live music venues.
But yet they're still able to get permits to do things out in the street, like Ron Soto and some of those other guys that do things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a conversation with the Gator Club management, and it was like, why are people buying condos to come downtown when they already knew that what they were getting into? There's going to be live music. It's a vibrant, bustling city, and you chose to live there, so maybe you can walk to places and enjoy the entertainment.
Right. Yeah.
And then now you're complaining about it.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think they're going to have that same problem in St. Pete. In fact, one of the bar owners who owns a couple of the places down around where we hold First Friday down on Central Avenue, he's having problems already with people complaining about the noise. And those bars have been there forever.
Right.
And they're complaining about the noise.
So like what happens is a police officer or sheriff would come in with like that little device and like measure decibels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So many like yards away from the venue itself.
So then like when you're organizing First Friday, like, so you know that you have a certain cutoff, like you say, like, what is it, midnight? Like, is there a certain
10.
number? So they'll tell you can't go past 10.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then you have to abide by that.
Yes,
Okay.
which we do. We have a wonderful relationship with the city and the police department and everything. Everything we've ever set forth, we have made happen. So if we tell the vendors in the band stops at 9:45, the vendors stop at 10. That's it. That's done. And if you don't abide by that, you don't come back. Period.
But think about all the revenue and all the good stuff you're doing for those merchants. Like when you put this on, it brings in a lot of revenue, man. I mean, like the people are eating and drinking and getting hotels. And then now the city of St. Pete could say, look how vibrant we are. We have all these street festivals and come move here. So what you're doing, there's like a trickle down effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when somebody bitches and moans about the sound, it's like, look, it's a lot bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a business that's an important part of Florida living, you know?
Yeah.
Some of those bar owners down there make their month on First Friday.
Yeah.
So, you know, the rest of the month they're, you know, taking care of other things, but literally they have record nights on First Friday down there.
So how do you guys pick and choose venues? For an example, what if you get a phone call? What if you got several people saying, I want you for New Year's Eve, or I want you for the Saturday before Halloween? Like, how do you pick and choose that? Because your services are in high demand now, right?
Well, you know, we'd like to say they are.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we wonder, but you know, it's a, you know, and I'm probably the worst one. It's like, you know, we have an event someplace. It's like, man, I hope people show up, you know, and like, you know, she'll look at me and says like, okay, really? But,
it's all good.
When I think we look at the whole picture of where we're going. So if there's a venue that's obviously too small for us, we don't go, and we don't tell them we don't like your venue. Right. It's like,
we won't fit.
These are the requirements.
It's the product of your success. You've gotten so big now that you can't even fit into these places.
Some places, right? Yeah.
Well, we had what was the other day? Someone was complaining to me about, we don't go see you in indoor places anymore because it's too crowded.
Yeah.
We only see you in the outdoor places now.
Yeah.
Which is good, but it's bad because you want somebody not to go.
Yeah.
But you know, we have certain requirements, certain power requirements, certain space requirements that, you know, kind of attribute that us not going to certain places. But you know, we also have some places that have been near and dear to us for a long time. You know, 88 Live is one of our favorite places that we play. Mm-hmm. We love the ownership, Scott and Sherry. They do a wonderful job with all the people they have in there. And it's not the biggest venue in the world. I mean, I think it seats 220.
I think so.
Are they turning people away at the door because they can't get them in? Is it like
they can sometimes. Sometimes it's standing room only, but they're about to open an expansion to the venue itself, so they can fit more people.
Do you guys think that? And I know the answer to this. Cover charges. Mm-hmm. I don't think they affect people coming to see you. Like people could see you for free at certain venues, but then they'll pay $5 or $10 and they'll still come and still pay it. Whereas other bands, they and this even happened to Jacked Up. They're like, well, why should we pay $5 to see you here when tomorrow night we can see you there for $0? You know, see what I'm saying? But that doesn't seem to affect you guys.
Not really. I mean,
I think, you know, it depends on venue. Like Woody's, they never charge a cover charge. Motorworks, they started getting large cover charges, right? Yeah. So, you know, it's I tell them like this. It's like, okay, I have no problem with cover charges. I think you should do cover charges. You because people, you can either put it in your food or you can put it on the cover charge. It's some way you've got to pay the entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. It just doesn't magically come out of the air, but you have to do it reasonably for people to want to come. Now, I think personally, some of these major concerts are just getting way out of hand when you're spending $1,000 to get a decent seat at some of these concerts.
I agree.
But my thing is that $10 range is kind of that sweet spot where we've seen it doesn't really affect anybody until you get over that $10 thing. Mm-hmm. You start getting 15 and 20 and the attendance starts shrinking. So, where's that balance? So, I honestly, I think, and this is good for us as a whole, is yes, they need to charge coverage, even if it's $5. That's money that people will pay to come see a band to see them. And that helps live music. It helps everybody involved, and it's not excessive. But when you start getting excessive to where, if we're on a date and I have to drop just a local date and I have to drop $40 to get into a bar just to go see the band, and then now I got to buy all the stuff for the date, that may be something.
I understand.
So,
I always tell people I'll spend the $40 on liquor. It's like, why are you charging me to get in when I'm going to spend maybe even more than that on the,
Well, I think a lot of people have to understand there has to be a way to pay the band. Like it's either going to, like you said, it's either going to be at the door or it's going to be, through the price of the food. So,
But certain venues their liquor sales, when you guys will play a certain venue, their liquor sales go up so high that then they can justify paying the band based on the amount of extra liquor they're selling.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not always about the food, it's about the liquor really.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I want to take the conversation to a different level now. I want to talk about, and I want the viewers at home to know more about you guys as musicians. So what I usually ask my guests, what were you listening to as a kid? What were some of your early influences in music, right? Like what got you into drumming? What got you into singing? What were some of your early projects, man? Perhaps it was a school play. Maybe it was that garage band that you got in high school, right? So let's talk about that. Let's let our viewers know a little bit more insight as to what made you the kind of entertainer that you are today.
Here we go.
You go first, yeah.
My first memory of singing, I was probably 6. And we lived in Madison, Wisconsin. We had a big fireplace with the cement in the front with all the rocks, and I had my hairbrush, and that was back when like Mr. Microphone came out. You remember?
Sure, I remember that.
8-track tapes.
Were you the youngest in the family?
No, I'm the middle. I have a sister 4 years older and 8 years younger.
So they encouraged you to entertain. Like I was the youngest, so they encouraged me to do the Mr. Microphone and
nobody
tell
cared.
jokes.
Everybody just was
I was thrown into that role whether I wanted to or not.
No. My family's more like, Kristen's just, off singing, just everybody just did their thing and I was off doing mine. It was nobody really cared. The only time in my family where music, there was a rule in my family where you had to play a sport and you had to play an instrument throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school. That was just that you had to do that. So my instrument changed over the course. I always sang. I played softball, things like that. But I played the viola, and then I played the cornet. I played piano. And then eventually when high school, there was too much going on with dance and palms and cheerleading and all that kind of stuff. But I started singing wise, I was about 6. I think 9 years old, I tried out for my first musical down at Madison Civic Center, I think it was. And it was Annie. But I was too tall because I'm a tall girl. I was too tall for any of the roles. So I didn't get anything in that. And then musical theater was always a thread throughout high school, more so than high school. I had a choir director, Mr. Whitty in Madison, who was absolutely phenomenal.
Shout out to Mr. Whitty.
Love. He's probably deceased by now because that was a long time ago. But he was absolutely wonderful. He was probably one of the biggest influences when it came to singing because it was proper voice technique, posture, breathing, things like that. Then my second high school, my senior year, Miss Kettleson, she was probably the second next influence in my life. And then from there, it was just musicals. And I think my first band I joined in college, we were doing cigar bars because that was like the swanky thing at the time. So
your role models, like, was it the MTV stuff, like the Pat Benatar, the Madonna? Was it that stuff, or was it even earlier than that? It
was probably earlier than that. It was probably more musical theater back when I was younger. Olivia Newton-John, Grease,
Sure.
Annie, things like that. Juice Newton used to be one of my very favorites growing up.
ABBA.
ABBA, I loved ABBA. I still love ABBA. Anything, for me, it was always the voice with power. That's what I was always drawn to. So if it was a female voice that had a lot of power behind it, later, Trisha Yearwood, Martina McBride, because I was into country back in the 90s. That's always been what I gravitated and tried to emulate over time, because it was always enthralling how they can make a tiny person could make that much sound. It was amazing.
And back then, radio was fun. You know, I remember AM radio, then I remember FM radio, and I remember listening to so many different types of music. And then I had older brothers and sisters that were always having stereos in their own rooms. So my house was full of music in the 70s. So I went from all different types of music, but the radio was huge influence on me. You know, listening to stuff in the car. Right?
I think so, yeah. Well, like the 8-track tapes.
8-tracks were, yeah.
Barry Manilow is still one of my absolute favorites. I love him. Love Barry Manilow. And again, it goes
Burt
back
Bacharach.
to that. Yeah.
All those 70s, like sounds
voice.
of the 70s. Like my dad had a station wagon with the 8-track player, and it was like Burt Bacharach's greatest hits. You know, like Motown's greatest hits.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Tina Turner, things like
was
that.
back then.
Yeah.
Liberace. We keep talking about Liberace.
Yeah.
So David, how about yourself, man?
So my musical career started very early, 6th grade. I always wanted to play drums. And I went to, 6th grade, you started playing whatever instrument you played, right? So I got there and I said, listen, I want to try out for drums. And the band director looked at me and says, well, there's too many people trying out for drums and you have long arms, so I'm going to put you on trombone. So I learned trombone. And I played trombone for the next 12, 15 years. Bass guitar, baritone, a lot of wind instruments up through school. We had a small, what I would even call garage band when I was in high school, where I played the bass guitar in. Nothing big. Grew up in a religious home, so was always doing the singing choir thing. Then dropped off the face of the earth till I was 47 years old. Like most of the things you change in life, I was going through a divorce at the time. And so, you know what? I've always wanted to play the drums. So Jeff, who I've mentioned before, who works with us still in production. Jeff. That's where it came from. We were sitting in a bar one night, and I said, listen, I want to play the drums. And he says, I just got this bass guitar given to me. I want to play the bass guitar. I said, okay, well, let's learn our instruments. So we took a few months, knocking out the rudiments of things. And then I looked at him one day at a bar. Interesting how I was at a bar. But I said, there's got to be a reason for us to do this. And that's when 22N was born. So it was me and Jeff and a guy named Mark and a guy named Brett.
How'd you find those guys?
And they were actually in the same bar, believe it or not. So believe it or not, it was Leo's over in Lakeland.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah. In fact, you guys did the video wall there.
We actually did. We did the lighting there. We did the video wall there. And it was funny because as we started, and we were very bad back then. So, please don't go back and look at any of those videos. We were the premier Wednesday night band there. And then we moved up to the premier Thursday night band there. And then we wound up being the premier Friday, Saturday band there.
Who was your singer back then?
Well, we had a couple. Like I said, we had a guy named Chris Davis, who was kind of a screamer kind of a guy. Then we had a girl named Lindsay, which was kind of interesting because we were doing like the heavier stuff, the STP, the real kind of heavier music. And she was a kind of a jazz singer. So she had this jazzy voice behind, and we're doing all of this hard rock behind her. It was interesting for a while. And then the third singer that we had was Haley. And she, that's kind of when the musical format started to come together with what we decided to play, how we decided to play. That was right about the time Michael came in, and then Haley got pregnant, left the project, and then Kristen came aboard. So literally, I've only been playing drums since I was 47, 48, 57 now. So technically 10 years, and that's kind of.
It's not a credit because you're a good drummer. And it's crazy.
You're much too kind, but thank you.
No, you are. You are a good drummer. And I think what's crazy about this is how you started so late, and how you like, this might be a great story for people. Like, you know what? Just because you're 47 or maybe even older, you can still live your dream, man.
Yeah.
You know, go pick up an instrument, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, it's funny. We talk about all the time. It's like we're having more fun now with things that we're doing in life than we had previously.
I agree. I think it's the fountain of youth.
Huh?
Yeah.
What we're doing right now keeps us young. It keeps us smiling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm having a blast, man.
Yeah, we are too. We are too.
Yeah.
And especially, I guess, for me a lot, well, he moves just as much as me, a little bit different, but working out 3 hours, 3 times a week, because basically I move so much. It's like literally like doing jazzercise.
Sure it is. So like your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, you're probably really happy to just be sitting down.
Yeah. Although I'm sitting at my computer working, but yeah, I get my workout in, that's for sure.
Do you still have a gym membership, or do you just like you get so much exercise you don't even need to?
No, I still have it. I just don't go as much as I probably should. But yeah.
Now you guys both live in the Bradenton area now, because you were weren't you both living far away? Weren't you in the Lakeland area or something?
So I lived in Lakeland. She lived in Parrish back when she first came with the band. And as things progressed and as most of the work moved on this west coast of Florida, our relationship started. And we dated for, 2 years, was it?
Yeah.
And then decided to move down here to Bradenton and, start the homestead where we're at now. So
one of my questions I was going to ask you is, how did you actually meet? Like the very first meeting, like, were you like auditioning for the band? Is that
Actually, no. I was with Wild Ginger for about 10 years.
And Wild Ginger is?
The band.
It was a band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was a band that we played together. Christy Leggett, who was my bassist, she now plays with North to South. Jason Allen was my last guitarist. He's with the Bearded Brothers now. And we played together for about 10 years. And then we did a cruise, and that was probably that was the pinnacle. And we took a break for about a year. And then David actually called me. I was with another band, doing a little bit of here and there. I did some acoustic stuff with Jason Allen over that year. We did just acoustic. It was fun because we would do Dancing Queen, just acoustic, just fun stuff like that. And then David called me at one point, and he said that they were looking for a lead singer, and I didn't know who they were. I had no idea.
She didn't even respond.
I didn't respond.
First time.
I didn't, because I'm like,
you had never seen them.
No,
and you probably never heard of them either, right?
No. So I didn't even know who they were. So I'm like, I don't want to join another band right now. I'm cool, so I didn't even respond. And then the next text was, I don't think you understand.
We need you.
I'm not trying to be creepy or anything, really. It's, and so she agreed to meet us.
Yeah, we sat down at Ford's Garage in Brandon. It was James and David and I think we sat and talked for about 2 hours because I had a lot of questions. I didn't want to get into another project that I didn't understand fully what their vision was. If I was going to take my time, because I have 2 kids, so I didn't want, if I'm going to take the time away from my 2 kids, I want to understand what the vision is for the band, what they wanted to do going forward, what kind of music was it, etc. So we sat and talked for about 2 hours, I think, at that point. So yeah, so that's how it.
So what's the dynamic between the teamwork? Do you guys play off each other's strengths? Are you stronger in this particular area? You're weaker in this area, but then he compliments you there. How do you work together as a team?
Yin and yang. That's what we called it the other day. Sometimes ying's better than yang. Sometimes yang's better than the yang. But, a lot of times we do work very well together because David's got a full-time job doing IT security. Am I calling it the right thing?
I'm actually the chief technical officer out of in a company from St. Louis. That's my, big boy job, I guess you could say. So
he works a lot. So if there's something I can do to take something off his plate, then I help out. And vice versa. If there's something that I don't understand how to do something, he'll show me how to do it or just step in and say, I did this, et cetera. So we do compliment each other very, very well. But we've also got, his mom lives on our property. My dad lives on our property. I've got a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old that live with us. So we've got lots of moving parts all the time to make sure that everybody's taken care of, plus the band, plus the production company, plus, events company, and making sure that everybody is fed.
You got a full plate, man.
It's a lot.
You have any pets?
We have a dog. Yeah, Maisie, our little rescue.
So do you guys, when you do get a chance to get out,
yeah,
are there certain restaurants you like to go, certain types of food you like to eat? Like, what are some of the things you do on your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays when you're not honestly performing?
We'd like to go see bands. We like to go see music. If more often than not, we'll pop on like Go Tonight or something and see who's playing where. And if it's somewhere that we like the food, that's where we go.
I would love for you to come see us because I want you to see Sarah.
Yeah,
she's wonderful.
We were supposed to come that St. Patrick's Day, because this was the first St. Patrick's Day that we had never played in literally 10 years.
Because most bars celebrated it on the 15th.
15th, that's what we did. Yeah, but I was in the hospital with my daughter, so we couldn't come.
Oh, she all right?
She's better. Yeah, good. Charlotte actually comes. She'll come sing with us every once in a while. She goes to Braden River High School, and she actually has the lead in the musical, the female lead in the musical this year, Hadestown, at the end of April. So she'll come sing with us. She was a big help when I was coming back.
Isn't that great that she can sing with you guys?
She's wonderful.
Are you like, is she gonna like be your future replacement someday? Like,
if you ask her, she'll say no. She has better things to do.
You're grooming her, so you can just say, I'm out. Here you go. Here's your replacement.
Yeah, we're cool, but we're just not that cool. So cool. She's got a social life. She's 15. So, but she was a big help when I was coming back. She would come in and sing like 5 songs throughout the night, and then the harmonies and things that I couldn't do yet. So she was a great help, definitely. But now, now we don't need her as much because I'm coming back a little bit stronger. And so now she's got things to do. So
that's cool.
But she's wonderful. Yeah, she is.
So how could people contact you? How could people learn about when you're coming to their town? How can they see your schedule? How can they buy merch? What about, all that social media, great stuff?
Speaking of merch, we are looking for a merch person.
Or a couple of merch people.
My kids were doing it for a while, but they have too much going on, social life and everything. We did have a wonderful girl, Fallon, for the longest time. And then she moved away. So we do need someone at the shows like for merch, but usually we have the merch with us.
So generic stuff like shirts, hats, basic stuff.
Yeah. We have tumblers, mouse pads. We used to have earrings, keychains.
Do you have any hot sauce?
Do not have
right
hot
behind
sauce.
you.
I saw that when I sat down.
There we go. Wait a minute. Let's do this correctly. Jacked Up Hot Sauce. It's sponsored by 22N. There you go.
So one of my favorite restaurants in Sarasota knew that this is years ago, and he bought a couple cases because he used it in his restaurant.
Yeah.
And he was doing me a favor at the same time.
Cool.
That's cool. Very cool.
One of the things that I enjoy is the marketing aspect of the job. I always tell people I'm a marketing guy and I have a big marketing TV background, but I like to do the marketing. I happen to be a bass player. Like I'm a marketing guy before I'm a bass player.
Right.
Even though my bass playing skills have gotten so much better. I'm a marketing guy, and Jacked Up was built on, I'm doing tchotchkes and I'm doing fun stuff like the olive. I'm getting ready to do infused olive oil, but I did the hot sauce. But just stupid stuff like coasters, mugs.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything like you can go on a catalog and like order from China, and have it shipped in like get large quantities of it.
Yeah.
And then either I hand it out or I sell it.
I make a lot of ours. I make all the tumblers and the mouse pads and the coasters and stuff. I make a lot of sublimation. I do a lot of sublimation.
Isn't it neat when you're doing a show and you see people wearing your stuff? I love seeing Jacked Up shirts in the audience. I think it's so cool.
It's cool when we're other places and we see our shirts sometimes.
Like we've been to Daytona and people show up over there with 22N shirts on.
Yeah,
Daytona.
it's cool.
That's a place we may play 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And you got people, 4 or 5 people showing up in 22N shirts.
But the great thing about 22N is that you've grown, your reach has grown. So for an example, like Daytona, Naples, like you're the band itself, the name and the logo and the whole thing is like you're growing your base. It's wonderful.
It is. When we say we really are blessed to have good fans, we really are. We are very, very blessed. We have we're surrounded by wonderful people. Yeah.
Do you mention perhaps when you're performing, like go to our website or, check us out on Facebook? Like, are you encouraging that? And are you making a point to be like 22n.com or 22n, the ultimate party band?
Yeah.
What is actually your website?
22nrocks.com.
Okay. So 22nrocks.com is where people can get everything.
Yeah.
But then on Facebook, it's
22n band on Facebook.
That's a whole story too. So
our page 22n Rocks on Facebook was hacked and stolen, so they wouldn't give it back. So we had to make a whole new page, which was horrible.
20,000 likes down the drain. So we started over last year, I think it was. Yes, last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah. So we're building again. So, social media is interesting for us. So.
And then,
So 22nband.com for Facebook, right. And then 22n Rocks on Instagram.
Gotcha.
And YouTube and TikTok and
So fans can find out about you going to your website.
Yeah.
They can go to Facebook, which I find those are the top two.
Yeah.
Instagram tends to be for the younger folks, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I even do Twitter, but even though nobody pays attention to it, or X, I guess we call it.
Right.
But then I'm finding Go Tonight to be a wonderful tool.
Yes, we do.
And the cool thing is my website, as we speak, is being redone. And now when I type into Go Tonight, it'll automatically populate on my website. So I don't have to then go to the website.
Cool.
We figured out how to do that.
Well, we have on the website that we have 22n Rocks, we have a feed to where it'll pull directly from Facebook.
Okay.
So all of the actual Facebook events are there. It'll have all the basic information, or you can click on that and it'll pull you back over to Facebook to actually go to the event and see all the interesting stuff.
And you guys are also very good about putting your Facebook events out well in advance.
Try to, yes.
Because sometimes, I'm doing this all myself, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to put an invite out for next week. I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's smart to get it, just take a day and say, you know what, I already know my calendar, so let's just put these Facebook invites out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We try to get it at least 30 days out. I personally would like it to be 3 months out, but we got to at least get it out there 30 days ahead of time. So.
Yeah, because as we mentioned earlier in the show, there are people that are coming in to see you guys and they're on vacation. Mm-hmm. So they want to kind of plan their vacation. So it helps them. Because sometimes I'll get a thing on Facebook, or they'll find me through my website and they'll send me a message. Are you guys playing Clancy's on June 7th?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, it's time for me to maybe start putting out some better marketing or information,
We have people that'll private message us and ask us if we're playing certain places because they're coming down from Michigan or something like that. And so we'll let them know wherever we're in the area, so that they can kind of plan where they're going to stay dependent on where we're playing. Yeah.
So in our final minutes, a lot of times there's a lot of people behind the scenes, right? There's family, friends, crew. Are there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you want to say thank you to as far as like what has gotten 22N to be where they are today, and some of the people behind the scenes that perhaps aren't so, visible?
Before I do the crew and everything, the one thing I will say, I want to say thank you to the venues who have been very understanding, that I can't sing 4.5 hours. I can't sing 4 hours straight. It's not there yet. So some of the venues were very considerate when it came to, whittling down just a little bit for us.
So are you saying that perhaps maybe a normal 4-hour show, which would be 3 1-hour sets, now is like maybe 2 bigger sets?
Yeah, okay, right. Exactly. So, and
an hour shorter. Okay. So they've actually cut it down an hour to have 22N in rather than just having us play the whole 4 hours.
Because that was the max I could do. Okay. So they were very, very, very understanding. And I want to say thank you to those venues because it meant a lot.
And we share a lot of the same venues, and there's some really good venues with some really good owners out there.
Yes, absolutely.
So I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. They were very wonderful. I love our crew. Our crew is wonderful. They're very hardworking. Stephanie James is the spearhead for a lot of everything. We call him DW because we have 2 Davids. And when you say David, this one either. So DW, we have good people, Brian. We really do have good people.
I think big shout outs to James, obviously. Yeah. Phenomenal sound guy. And he coordinates a lot of the crew. A big shout out to Jeff, who's still involved with us.
Yes.
He does a lot of the staging and stuff for us in the production company, and he has a full-time job also. Mm-hmm. So those 2 guys have been with us for a long time, and they're behind the scenes, and always they don't get any of the credit. The crew, we're always looking for good crew.
Yes.
If there's guys out there that want to learn, we teach them all of this stuff, in the background.
And we're growing, so we do need,
definitely.
A shout out to Stephanie. She does a great job with our social media, and she's a great ambassador for our brand.
She is.
There's many people that make this organization go.
Yeah.
Well, final thoughts. What do you love the most about what you're currently doing?
For me personally, just being on stage and being able to sing, and to see people happy, that means everything to me right now. Because when you wake up in the morning and you've had your voice this whole time, and then it's gone, it's scary. It's very scary. And I don't even know if
Were you ever at a point when you thought maybe your career was over?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There was time. David's been a very, very big part of keeping me moving forward, because there's been days where I woke up where I didn't think I was ever going to sing again. And he has never not once said, you're never going to sing. This is too much. You can't do this. He's never said you can't. He's always said you can. So he's been a huge driving force with everything. He's been a big push, making me keep moving, keep going forward. Absolutely. I'm the one who doubts myself. He doesn't doubt me. I doubt myself.
Before it was your voice, though, were you just in love with the fact that you were having such a wonderful time, living a fantasy? Like, I like to think that I'm a big kid, I'm going to be a 60-year-old kid that still looks in the mirror and plays air guitar, and now people are applauding, me.
Yeah.
That to me, that's what motivates me, man. That's that, just getting people off on what I'm doing.
Yes, very much so. And it goes like what we were talking earlier. If you see people having fun for what you're doing, that's just cool that you're making them happy.
But it's a natural high. It's hard to explain to people that aren't musicians or artists, or like you're doing something with other people, like teamwork, right?
Yeah.
And your endorphins are kicking in, man. Like the other night we did the Sarasota Wine Festival, and we're playing in front of a bunch of people downtown Sarasota. And at one point I looked at my bandmates in the middle of a song, and I just felt like this awesome radiation of love, and we're all clicking and everybody's rocking, and people are, and I'm like, you can bottle that. If you can just bottle that, it's like lightning in a bottle, man. You know what I'm saying? And I live for those little short bursts of what do you call it? Adrenaline, perhaps, maybe?
Yeah, I guess.
It's a high.
So I think we talked about it earlier, but Gary Sobel, who's our bassist, he's leaving the band. He's moving up north. So it's one of those, I thought I had that moment the other day where we were on stage and we were kicking our feet, like he's playing and I'm singing, and we're tapping our feet. And I'm thinking to myself, we're never going to do this again. It's sad
because you're friends.
Yeah, because we're friends. And when people leave like that, it's like your sibling moving away.
Well,
it's hard.
You've had two people leave. I'm assuming that when people say, hey, when you guys say there's an audition here, there's an opportunity, you probably have hundreds of people that want to audition to join your band. I mean, right? What's that process like?
Well, I mean, normally we'll post something, obviously, to get the word out there. And we'll get a list of people that come in, and then we'll go through that list, and we surf Facebook, we see who they are and what they're about, and it's not necessarily about the best bass player, the bass guitar player. It's who's going to fit in the team, and then we'll rack up some auditions. We'll have them audition, and we'll go. Sometimes, like with Kristen. When we were looking for that lead singer, I was like, I want Kristen. I've seen her before. She's in a position where she's not thriving, that I thought, this is the best singer in Tampa Bay. I want Kristen.
What makes you successful, David, is that you're a very good judge of character. And you're probably one of those guys that you feel something and you go with your gut, and you usually win most of the times.
Right. Usually, and usually it's like when I don't go with my gut is when we get in trouble.
Yes.
So that's the problem.
That's a good trait.
To back up, you were talking about things to be thankful for, right? And in those things, I think one of the biggest things that I enjoy is literally the people out there in the audience have given me the opportunity to do something that's just phenomenal. And, it's just this outpouring of fun and enjoyment and everything that they're doing out there. And they've given me that opportunity. So I think, that's my favorite thing about the band is just that it's not the hard work and it's not whatever. It's just the fact that they have chosen to be here to see us play. because they have other options. They have hundreds of other options, but they're here to see us play. And I think that's the thing that I'm most thankful for.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, I wish my parents were still alive, because sometimes I wish they could see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I know they'd be so proud of me, so happy to see me doing what I'm doing, loving what I'm doing.
Our parents are very supportive.
Well, my mom's 81 and her dad's 78. And they, believe it or not, came to Stoudemire's the other day and actually watched the show. They were dancing.
They were dancing.
I'm like, David, you gotta stand up a little. You gotta sing a little. That shirt's not any good. Huh?
No, Mom's very supportive. She actually is fun. She's
wonderful.
Yeah. She enjoys things.
Yeah.
Well, good. We're going to close on that note. So, guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. I consider you guys peers, but also really good friends.
Oh, awesome.
So, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
And great show, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Today's show is brought to you by AMI Boating Tours. Book today for the absolute best boat tour that you'll receive on Anna Marie Island. You can go to AMIBoatingTours.com, or you can call 941-242-7326.